Yeah, man. Episode 12, the season of bottle jobs, i.e., Arsenal, Chelsea. Let's be honest.
I was gonna say, like,
Listen,
talking about the
listen.
slack.
Arsenal bottled the Premier League. Simple as that. They bottled it. So the season of bottle jobs, man. What are you saying anyway, man? You good?
I'm alright. I'm alright. Given obviously how the season ended. Yeah, man. I'm a happy
You're
guy.
smiling, innit?
Content. Yeah, you don't get that too much.
Yeah, man.
Funny enough, actually, I'm smiling because coming back to something that we talked about recently, Sheffield Wednesday, man. That was
Yeah.
I couldn't think of a better ending for that story for the manager Darren Moore. So I was plugging my charger. So yeah, like I'm happy, and just in case, because I know not a lot of people out there watching all the playoffs in League One. We talked before about Darren Moore. Two games against Peterborough. He was Sheffield Wednesday manager. Lost the first one 4-0. Abused by his own fans for the first time in history. Overturned the deficit in the second game to win on penalties, and then playoff final. Sheffield Wednesday got an extra man. They can't make the breakthrough until the last kick of the game. They got promoted. So just it's walking on water. This guy. Do you know what I mean?
You know, it was mad though as well. Obviously, people that don't know, Josh Windass is
Yeah,
the son of Dean Windass.
that's it.
I think
Yeah,
that's his name, Dean. Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know if people got to see the video before the final. There was a video. I think Dean Windass was either on his way from Northeast down to London for the final, and he was emotional then. And there was a cutscene where it went to when Josh Windass scored the goal, went to him. And you know, them proud father moments. You could tell. Even the day after, he put something out, and even then, he was still emotional. So, because he done that for Hull. Do you remember? I think it was Hull. He scored like
Yeah,
a
it's a
last minute winner.
banger.
It was a
Yeah.
mad goal as well, and he done that at Wembley as well. So to see his son do the same thing must be a crazy experience. But yeah, credit to Darren Moore. Like almost done the unthinkable when you think back to that second leg. The first leg when they were 4-0 down to come back 4-0 like down to come back and get to the final, then to go on, albeit it was a mad game. It was a mad game, the final. But yeah, no, credit to Darren Moore, man. But I got a more serious question me have to ask.
I know. Tell me, go on.
I was reading this morning, yeah, and obviously everyone knows Al Pacino, Scarface, for one of the well-known films that he's been in. He's been in a lot of other films as well. Heat, another one, really good film. Now, Al Pacino, 83 years old, is expecting his fourth child with his 26-year-old girlfriend. Now, I'm not saying... There's a couple of things I need to try and like dissect here, because he's 83, she's 26. So the maths ain't mathing. Yeah.
Man still saying, "Say hello to my little friend."
Oh shit!
Oh man,
yeah, you could take loads of quotes from him, because I think there's another one that says like you gotta point your finger and say I'm the bad guy or something as well. You are the bad guy. 80, 86, 83 with a 26-year-old woman and getting her pregnant. But the question I had for you is there like, there's probably no right or wrong to this, but in your opinion, maybe your opinion more than like a definitive answer, but do you think it's kind of at a point where you should stop thinking about reproducing and bringing children into the world when you're not at your ripe age? Like, you're not at the age where you're going to be around. Hopefully he is, but he's not going to be around for the next 50 years, is he? Let's be honest. And it's just, it's a weird, and again, each their own, but you've got to think the age gap is a bit mad. 83 and you're still shotting on the block. What's going on?
You know what, I'm laughing because that said, is there an age you just stop reproducing?
It's true, though. How can you still be
the way that you phrase that said your reproductive time is done.
Yeah, come on, man.
No,
you're gonna say no.
Do what you got to do on that. If you can provide for the kids, and
yeah, but is he gonna be around? Do you know what I mean? In the nicest way possible. Is he going to be around to see his son or his daughter get married?
Listen, AI, yeah, we talked about that a few episodes ago. Listen, you don't need to be there. You can get a robot, and you can put all of his famous quotes in there and his words of advice and all of
The
that.
Tupac hologram.
Yeah. I mean, you know my thing, innit? As long as you're providing a good environment for that child, and you have to remember as well, just because he's 83, he might have another 10, 15 years in him. Do you know what I mean? And you could be 23 and die for all kind of reasons. So it's hard to know, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I mean that is, yeah, the maths is a bit mad. But at the same time, he's happy. Obviously, you know, hopefully she's happy. And if it was the other way around, same thing. Like just yeah, man. As long as there's love in that relationship, it's all good, man.
No.
You're not on it, are you?
It's a grooming thing. Come on, man. Is it not grooming to an extent? He obviously he didn't meet her when she was, or did he? I don't know, but I'm speculating that she didn't and he didn't meet each other when he was 83 and she was 26. There must have been a relationship before then, and it links into the Philip Schofield thing as well because
I had intrusive thought, and I wasn't gonna say it, but now that you've named him, it's not a Philip Schofield thing, though, is it?
Well, we don't know. It's all speculation, but I think that for me, there's a level of like, I'm not saying again each to their own, but there's no way. This takes me back to the school days actually. So you know, sometimes you just see. I don't know if it was like this in your school, but the year 11 girls or like girls in my year used to get picked up by men in cars after school. Do you know what I mean? And it's a grooming thing, man. I think you just sugarcoat it with but they're. Do you know what I mean? They can consent to this and da. But it's still the whole Phillips, like the Schofield thing. Let's just be honest. I'm going to keep saying his name, but do you know the backstory to that?
Yeah, I remember we talked about it, and what's funny, funny is not a good word to use, but when we spoke about it previously, you'd mention and reference all these things because a lot of people had clocked on that it's the picture, isn't it? The picture with Philip Schofield and his kid, who I think he's about 12 or 13, is the same kid. And how long ago did we have that conversation? It's so long, you don't remember us having that conversation. It was about a year and a half ago.
I don't. But
it was whenever he had that affair, whenever he referenced the affair. So, and yeah, I'm not even gonna go into it. But I think Al Pacino. No, do you know? Do you know the case? No, do you know what it is? Like, certain people just tie themselves up. Do you know what I mean? Certain people think they're so above things that they can just do what they want. And when you're in the digital age, you've got to be careful out there. So
the digital trail.
Yeah, that will unfold as it needs to, and it's unfolding exactly the way, to be fair, that you and I think another person we're talking about with mentioned as well. I can't remember who said what, but it's unfolding exactly in that way because we know exactly what all of that has been about, all the outrage about co-presenters and I want to distance myself. I'm talking shit because you would have known. But Al Pacino, I think, I don't know the history, I don't know the girl, but if they genuinely got together when she's over 21
of age,
or even over 18, to be fair, that's their business. I think I do remember what you're talking about in school, and not even girls in year 11. Like for some of them,
younger.
I've seen girls in year 8, year 9. Like getting their mobile phones. There was a play I went to called Kemi from the Block, which was really good. It was in yes, mad, innit? But it was in the theatre in Peckham. I forget what it's called. But it was really good, and it highlighted that exact thing, and that is different. Like that is
that's proper grooming.
Yeah. Whereas the Al Pacino, I don't really know, but yeah, like she's a grown-ass woman, and she can make her decisions. And so I mean, should have been 25. I think it's different if
she's 29. So I got it wrong.
Oh,
she's 29 now. Yeah.
Yeah, she's 18, about to pop, and you're thinking, then how old was she 9 months ago? And also, how long did he know that? Yeah,
let's do
you know
the
what I mean? But, man, she can listen. As long as that kid, like I said, is in a loving environment, they're going to inherit Al Pacino money really quick and get to spend some time with, Scarface, Carlito. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Carlito. But it's just, I think it's more, forget the money. It's more, and again, I'm not wishing anything on him, but it's just he's at the wrong age bracket. When he's ticking, like doing a questionnaire, he ain't ticking 21 to 30. He's ticking the last one where it just says like 70, 65 plus. They don't even count what, do you know what I mean, your back end of your years then. So I think it's more the father figure bit. Like, yes, he's gonna have other people around him or whatever, or he or she, but it's to me, there's a cut off, man. I wouldn't have a child at that age, regardless of my circumstances and whatever. I just wouldn't do it because I think it's just, in ways, it could be unfair on the child if I'm not gonna be around for probably some of their most prominent years. Do you know what I mean? When they're an adult or they're going. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie to you, cause just there's no age limit for me, you know.
Man, just said blast away. Do what you need to do.
Blastoise.
Man said blast away. It don't matter.
No, just listen. Like, I could be 92. Like, it's all good in it. It's all good in the hoods, but it just depends. It just depends, but yeah, and like I said, it's not just because he's a guy. I don't want people thinking, like, you wouldn't say that as well.
Nah, vice versa, it's the same thing.
Yeah, if it was like that as well, yeah, all good to them, innit? So, but yeah, you can have kids whenever, as long as as long as the origins of that relationship was legit and doesn't precede any age boundaries. Yeah, do what you got to do.
Do you know what I will say? Because I don't want to talk about the Schofield thing fully because I think it's like a full-on investigation that's going to happen. But one thing I do want to say is this is not his first rodeo. He's done this before. This is not the only one. I'm telling you from now. You don't just do one and then just think, okay, whatever. This could be on a scale of, do you know what I mean? There's a reason why ITV have covered it up so much. Like, it's not just a little, do you know what I mean? So when it all comes out, I think that'll be a good time to talk about it.
I think so. You just need to go and look at that whole situation with the brother and the role that he already played in that. Again,
true.
I'm not saying that he did that, but that silence is deafening.
But
also very loud at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, man. It's crazy. We'll get back onto that, man. But